DJ Big Mikee, BMK Recordings, Birmz Grime DVD. Blah, wagwan.
So what have you been doing lately since a few years ago?
Well, still DJing obviously, still doing radio, but I'm trying to produce more tunes now and engineering them sort of things. Sound engineering. I just finished my college course, extended diploma for sound engineering and using Cubase and VSTs and stuff like that. So yeah, last couple of years I've been more concentrating on the building of the tracks rather than the playing of them. Get me? Well, since the early days, I think the grime scene at the moment has progressed, but it's at not a standstill. I'd say it's kind of held back at the moment because you've got one or two artists that are breaking through and coming mainstream, but it's not everybody doing it like that. The dances are basically few and far. There's not as many grime dances now as there is bassline and drum and bass dances, and even things like radio. Take myself for instance, I'm probably the only person on Silk City that plays grime, but I feel for the grime scene at the moment, and I say at the moment because I do believe that it's actually gonna bust and break through, that it's just at, I'd say, a stumbling block, like where drum and bass went a few years ago and it was at a sort of standstill, and then more people started to produce and then it just broke through, and I think that will happen with grime as well. I think grime is going to be massive, but not yet. It still needs tweaking and a few stuff doing to it. The bassline scene, I love the bassline. I think it's dominated by Birmingham, like you say, like North England, Birmingham, Sheffield, Manchester, which is a change because usually it's like down south London that dominates most of the music. They've been doing it with old school, they've been doing it with grime, bit of hip hop as well, but the bass line is actually from up north. So I like what they're doing to the bass line. I love the music. If people can remember about 6 years ago where I used to play 4/4 with the swampy bass line, but there was no such thing then as bassline 4/4. It was just something that I wanted to be there and it wasn't, and because it was so far back I was limited to what I could play. But now it's just the people have enhanced it and you can actually go out and dance to it. I've been to the bassline dances and certain tunes do boss dance at a level where I've seen years ago. So I think the bassline scene is massive, and I think the people that are controlling it right now, the MCs, the producers, should give themselves a proper big up because it's something that's been made from scratch, and in the space of a couple of years it's elevated to this where everybody in the UK now knows about bassline. It's getting out there worldwide. So as long as the man them keep it tight, don't leak the tunes out, clean it up just a little bit, I'm telling you, bassline will be here to stay. I think Birmingham's involvement right now is much bigger than it was. And, I've been one of the veteran DJs that's been around 6, 7, 8, 9 years ago, where us as Birmingham DJs had to travel to London to get any form of big tune. Now it's not like that. You can, I can pick up a phone and phone the producer from Birmingham and get a big tune from him. So the involvement is much better than it was, that's what I'm saying, 8, 9 years ago, where Birmingham actually had no involvement at all. Now their input and that is much more than it was. So yeah, I like what they're doing. I still think mans need to just work a little bit harder. Certain men get a little bit of fame, 1 or 2 bookings, and think that they've actually made it. And it don't go like that. It's hard work and graft and consistency. If you're there 10 years and 10 years down the line, you're still doing it and you're still producing the same sort of, talent and enhancement, I think you'll go far. But some people just jump on it, nothing don't happen for them there and then, and they jump off, and if you're gonna actually get somewhere, it's all about consistency as well. So you've got to stick at it and do your thing. So yeah, man, big up the Birmingham man for their involvement in the bassline and the grime as well. Boy, I'm sorry, man, but anyone who's over 30 like myself will know that the old school days, them days, they were the best days. For dances, I personally prefer the music as it is now, but the old school days, the music was, it was good.
The vibes.
The vibes in the dance were just something different. See, now when you go to a dance, you're just wondering when the first shots are going to start popping off and you're just looking for the exit, you know. But them days, you go there, you don't even wear trainers, you're wearing proper clothes, you're dressing up, you know, you're going there with money to spend, you know, champagne, and you're having a good time, and you don't have to worry about anything in the dance more than, you know, a straight and a fist fight. You know, the vibe there was good. It was hardly ever back in them days that anything happened in them dances, and them dances ran till 6 o'clock if it said it on the flyer. Now, you know, enough of the dances have got 6 on the flyer. So, you know, certain dances do still run till 6, but by 2 o'clock something's happened and it's locked off. Back in the days we was out until 10 the next day. You know what I mean? 6 o'clock one dancing, after party from 6 till 10. Them are the sort of vibes you come back and you're knackered. You can't do that now because there ain't nowhere that's open long enough, you get me, because of the vibe and the moodiness in the dance hall. No one wants to actually invest and do them sort of dances. You know, but back in the day, them dances were running regular. My advice I'd say is do your thing, stick to it, do your thing. You know what I mean? You've all about consistency. Don't think like you're doing it for 2 or 3 years and nothing ain't happened, that nothing's gonna happen. You know, people want to see consistency first. Can you produce the goods? Consistency, you know, consistently. It's like a football player, you can have one season, the next season you just play shit. No one wants to buy you. But if you're like a Steven Gerrard, last 10 seasons, consistently, always there, always putting it in. Same thing with the DJ thing, man. And one advice I'd say, start on vinyls if you're a DJ. That's a proper way how to DJ. Vinyls and then move on to CD decks. That's you. Yeah, so big up all the up and coming DJs, do your thing, because the music scene needs DJs. You know, without no DJs, you're just gonna have MCs in the dance spitting acapellas. You know, so do your thing, DJs, you are needed. Yeah, just put in the work. I've just been messing about with this program, Logic. I know that everybody's using Reason and you know, a lot of people are using Reason, Fruity Loops. I've basically tried to learn how to use Logic because I've heard it's the best program, and plus I wanted my beats to sound different. Like a lot of people use the digital sound, but I use the digital and kind of mix it up with the analog. So when I'm building on here, it's all coinciding with this here. But you see, like a lot of producers, I get drawn in as well. Like you start something, you get halfway through, you save it, and then you go into something else. Well, I'm kind of like going through that stage now because I've learned how to use it, and I'm going through that stage where I haven't actually finished. I've finished about 6 tracks, but I've made like loads of half tracks, and then once I know how they're gonna sound and I know that yeah, it sounds like that. Okay, this track I didn't actually like build it to play. I actually made this track to when I was showing my mate how to use Logic, and obviously the best way to show somebody how to use it is to try and knock something up in front of them. So yeah, it's not fit, you know, it's not finished. You know what, I probably wouldn't finish it, but it's one of them ones. Basically sat my mate down and I said, listen, this is what you do if you want to use Logic, and I've loaded up like each sound and just actually you know, come up with this in the space of about 2 hours, something like that, and just showed him how to arrange it. You know, obviously the best way to show somebody how to use a program is to just build something on it. So while I'm building it, I'm talking him through it and saying, yeah, do this and that. So, you know, when I sit down and say, yeah, I'm going to finish it, then I'll actually do a lot more to it. You know what I mean? And more effects on the sound. What you're hearing at the moment is just raw MIDI sound. Yeah, so that's all I've really been spending most of my time is in here on this PC, you know, learning how to use it, you know, putting all my college skills into effect. So, you know, I say about this time next year, you'll probably be hearing like a lot of stuff from me by certain DJs. You know, obviously, I need to be a bit more confident in the tunes that I'm producing, because to myself, my standards are not there. You know, they're not there yet, but you know, I got mans around me like Swift there, you know, a couple other producers that have heard stuff and say, yeah man, you know, you'll be ready soon.